What just happened?
It's been acting funny, man.
Hold on. I can't end this because if it do, it's not working. There it is. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Untamed and Unhinged Reptile Podcast. You know, my co-host from John Arc Adventures. That's my boy. Today we have ArianaCaiman coming on, but before she comes on, we're going to talk about U.S. art. John, go ahead with the updates.
So no updates that I've seen since a few months ago from Arizona. Uh, but you always can help support them. Join the membership. You have everything from 20, 40, $5 a month, 250 a year, 1,000 a year, whatever your price range is. Whatever fits the wallet for you. Help support them. They help support us. They help us fight for our rights to keep the animals that we want and love and use for educational, breeding, or just to own.
All right, hell yeah. And then shout out to some of the chat. We got Lolo's Critters, Nikki, Mitzi, and that's it. And John right now. But I just want to let everybody know what's up. We're gonna bring out our guest, Ariana. Here she comes. Man, that beginning right there, that beginning. I was trying to get it going. Hey, I don't know what happened, but that was kind of embarrassing. No, I was like,
Hey, technology be that way sometimes.
you're like, what is
I'm
going on?
new. I'm new.
Right? And so, Ariana, go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Ariana. I've been doing venomous for about a year now. So I mostly keep venomous snakes. My main focus is vipers, but we do have quite a few cobras and elapids in the collection too. But most of those are owned by my boyfriend. But I've been keeping reptiles since I was like 3 or 4 years old. So,
Nice, nice.
oh yeah.
And they're venomous, correct?
Yeah, most of what we have now is venomous. I have like a reticulated python and a false water cobra and a mangrove, which I mean, I guess those are venomous too, but
But aren't they like rear fang venomous?
yeah, yeah, there's
Yeah.
not a whole lot of studies into their venom, so like they're considered harmless to most people.
Hmm. And the retic, why retics?
I just love like reptiles that get big, so like big monitors, crocodilians, like that kind of thing. So I just love the large constrictors.
Everybody's shouting you out right here, Ariana. It's Mitzi. And then you already know what's up, everyone. What's up, Don? Okay. So what is your favorite morph from Venomous? Your favorite morph?
Um, I like the natural stuff with venomous, honestly. There's not a whole lot of snakes that are like morphed in venomous, so I tend to just go for the more just natural wild type stuff, honestly.
And what is your favorite like venomous snake? Like swans, rattlesnakes, what else? I'm really limited.
I love the arboreal stuff. So any of like the tree vipers, the bush vipers, but picking a specific one, I don't know. My favorite snake that I have personally is my cantil, which is like the Mexican version of a cottonmouth, basically, but with a lot gnarlier venom.
Nice. That's badass. And you have any questions, John?
Have you ever kept any gaboons?
Yeah, we actually have like a 4.5 foot gaboon. We had her outside because it's getting warm finally. Um,
Nice.
we had her outside like 2 days ago, and she ended up pooping in the yard, and I was able to get like 6 fangs out of her poop. Super cool.
Nice.
That
We
is
ha-
awesome.
we
Yeah.
never got to own one because of the store that I used to own wouldn't allow it at the time. But I have a huge snake skin from one, and I was so close to owning her when the guy was ready to give her up. But I couldn't get my hot room in time together, and my wife's like, "All right, I got giant snakes in the house. I don't want to take on hots in the house." So no, I was so heartbroken. But move on.
Yeah, no, they are gorgeous snakes, but it's a lot. I mean, like she's great most of the time, but when she was done the other day, I mean, she was done, and it was like, all right, we're putting her away because I mean, with the like especially gaboons, it can go real wrong real quick.
Right.
That's I was gonna say they're like a loaded gun. You don't know what's gonna happen. I
Yeah,
was talking to somebody before I came on the live too. He was mentioning that he's like, man, these the venomous are cool and stuff, but like he said, like playing with a loaded gun. Like you don't know, what's gonna happen or what could happen. Like you open the wrong cage and boom, gone.
yeah,
And
no, I mean that is something I have to think about like every day that I have to do maintenance or I have to take one of these snakes out. Like it is something that's on the forefront of my mind. Like if I'm taking, my Siamensis, my Indo-Chinese spitting cobra out, it's something that's on my mind that if I get bit by this snake, today is my last day. Like,
but I
and that's
mean,
the thing.
I'm like, I get it. Like that's terrifying. At the same time, it's like an adrenaline rush. Or like your blood's pumping.
Oh,
So,
100%. Huge.
so I get it.
Yeah. I mean,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, sorry. I don't do it a whole lot for the adrenaline. Because I have like really bad anxiety. So if it's a snake that gives me a lot of adrenaline, I tend to I can go into kind of a panic, which is not good for me in venomous.
right.
Mostly vipers. I don't keep a lot of the crazy cobras because they scare the hell out of me. Like
Yeah.
vipers don't do that. I'm much more comfortable. So I
So
don't do
Yeah,
it for the adrenaline, but I know a lot of people do.
we get to do a lot of behind the scenes at our local zoo, help out occasionally, and there's this dark cage. They don't have any lights in it. I don't know why. I never really asked. But I remember walking up there. There was nothing in there, and there was a cobra like eye to eye to me, hooded up, and like that set me back a little bit. Like I'm not used to stuff, being right in my face. So yeah, when they hood up, that's intimidating.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. We actually just downsized quite a bit because there were some that it was just like, they're gorgeous, but we're not trying to dodge snakes all the time. So we downsized some of our like crazier, meaner stuff.
Right.
I hate to backtrack, but like, did you have a mentor like trying to work with like venomous? Like, did they teach you how to handle or like
Kind
who you learn from?
so I kind of taught myself with a lot of the vipers just because I had started catching rattlesnakes at like 13 or 14 years old. So I've been handling like just wild rattlesnakes for years and like going on 10 years now of handling native venomous from rattlesnakes, cottonmouths, all that stuff. And then when I jumped into exotics last year, I've been keeping exotic venomous for just a little bit over a year. I kind of just jumped into it. I had people around me that kept, but nobody really taught me. I didn't have any like legitimate like teachers until recently when I moved in with my boyfriend who's been keeping venomous for like 8 or 9 years. And so he's been teaching me a lot on like the cobras and that kind of stuff. So now he's, I guess, my mentor.
That's awesome. That
No,
is awesome.
cool.
Do y'all need
So,
special like hourly training for where you're from, or special permitting, or
Yeah. So here it's 500 hours. And then I think 2 references from licensed keepers.
Wow.
wait, where are you at?
Louisiana right now.
Oh yeah, I think it's the same for us too.
You
I-
can go to
no,
Walmart. You can go to Walmart and buy the tag for $20, and you can have them.
Are you in Texas?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I read somewhere it was like 500 hours too, but
No.
I may have read somewhere else.
If you vend and you sell like me when I was when I was breeding at the time and selling a lot of retics, I had the permits for them and the permit to sell animals all year long kind of thing. It kind of fits in if you look at it. That kind of fits it in there with it. Huts.
Isn't
Did not know that.
for retics? I thought the permit for like large constrictors and venomous in Texas were on the same. I thought they were
Yeah.
both just, like, considered
Well, that's
restricted.
right. That's what I was trying to say. I was ran a lot of words for no reason.
Oh no, you're good. I just wanted to double check my knowledge. I was like, I think they're the same, but
Yeah, they're pretty much, yeah.
So with that, so like if you go into academy and get that pet exotics, you can pretty much handle what venomous, anything. Yeah, exotic pet, like, you know what I'm talking about?
I think it's the I don't know. I always buy the most expensive one because I sell a lot of snakes, so it's kind of brought into it. I don't know about if you just go for the large constrictors or not, if that's on there or not. You know, simply for that. But
Okay. I mean, you learn something new every day. I thought I read it was 500 hours. I guess I misheard that.
Florida, most places, yeah.
Florida has a ridiculous amount of hours. Yeah.
Yeah, but they also have a lot of laws too.
Yeah. I want to visit, but I want to move there.
Yeah, I want to visit too, but I don't want to move there either. And with both of them, I know they're gonna like continue to fight with USARK and all that. Yeah, what is your take on USARK, real quick?
No, I actually love it. We actually just had Phil out here, because they were trying to ban venomous and a lot of the large constrictors. That hearing was actually on March 7th. So they tabled it for now because of USARK came out. We had a show on the 2nd and 3rd. So they had a booth there, got a bunch of petitions, got a bunch of people to go to this hearing, and they just fought this law for us. And so we're able to keep all of our venomous, at least for now. It's tabled, so it might come back around. But no, I'm super thankful for USARK.
Yeah. See, a lot of people don't understand like what USARK really does for us as keepers and breeders. Like they go out and fight. For like people who are coming into the hobby and watching all these videos, they really don't get to see that. So all they see is USARK everywhere. But what, if they want to know exactly what do they do? Like,
Yeah.
what are they doing for us? So there you go. They were gonna ban venomous, and they went and fought it.
They did.
That's awesome.
Super.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm just super thankful. Like it was killer.
So what is your take on free handling venomous and proper handling?
I think free handling is a great tool, to be honest. It's a very touchy subject because a lot of people look at it, you see free handlers with rattlesnakes around their neck and they're like, that's stupid. I mean, at some point you're gonna get bit if you're doing stuff like that. I'm sorry. But there are times and snakes that are much more comfortable being hands-on than with a hook. A lot of bigger snakes, your big king cobras and stuff, it's more dangerous to use a hook with them. So free handling is beneficial. You almost have to do it. We have snakes here that are much more comfortable just being hands-on. Gaboons. Having a gaboon on a hook, all that weight on a little point on the hook, can damage their ribs and stuff. So a lot of times it's actually easier to just kind of scoop them and move them, and they're more comfortable that way. So I think it's a great tool if you do it correctly and you learn from the right people. I've free-handled snakes. I don't do it very often, but you can feel the animal better. Sometimes it just helps. But I think the more you use safety tools, obviously, the less likely it is that you're going to get bit. So if you're constantly using hooks and stuff, never hands-on with the snakes, you're a lot less likely to get bit than somebody that is hands-on. But both are, useful tools.
That's awesome.
I think the other thing, and I don't this is kind of a weird one, but sometimes with venomous, you get into situations where you can't use a hook, and people who have never been trained or don't know how to free handle are going to freak out in that situation. Whereas if you do kind of know how to free handle, you can handle those situations better where the hook might not work.
I've seen where they freaked out about just regular boas, like their hair turns around or it wraps up around, they start freaking out, flinging the snake around, So, it's just people start panicking. Yeah. Just remain calm, always stay calm, even though scary as hell, yeah. But
I think time and place for everything. I mean, you don't want to go up to a bunch of kids if you do educational shows. Say, hey, look, here's a rattlesnake, and you're free handling. Then you're teaching them it's okay to go grab one when it's not. So that's it. Just got to be the right time and right place for it. So
100% for sure.
So, bro, so I went to a show, and they were like had the rattlesnake out on the table, and they had a balloon in front of the snake to get it to attack the balloon, so the kids can be like, "Oh." I think that's like iffy for me because like, what if he flew off the table?
yeah,
Like freely,
You know?
no barrier, nothing.
Yeah, no barrier, no nothing. Just the balloon was up, and it was striking the balloon like, "Pah."
Yeah, that's insane.
And in
That's
front of them, like the kids are like right there. The stage was up there on top. I'm just like, dang.
if you
no,
ain't been
that
around the kids with the snakes, a lot of kids will just reach out and grab without even thinking about it. So
100%. Yeah,
So
that's
I'm just
that's scary. That's horrifying that somebody did that.
see, and I'm like, man, that just blows my mind because y'all wonder why like they want to ban venomous and stuff like that. Like, it's.
the stupid
Yeah.
I
action
mean,
just make us all look bad. I mean, yeah, it wasn't us that got bit, but it still affects everybody in the community at some point.
hmm Well, yeah, I mean, we're all keeping animals that aren't cute and fluffy, whether it's venomous or, I mean, a large I tell people all the time, like, large constrictors, you get into a bad situation, they'll drop you in a minute or two, just like some venomous will. So, like,
Yep.
if they're coming for venomous, they're gonna come for the other stuff too. That's just sadly
Right.
how it is. It sucks.
I agree. Like, I hate that. Like, what was I trying to say right now? I lost my train of thought.
I do it all the time. It's all right.
Oh, but I had it though. I had it because I knew where I was going with it, but I lost it. It was about like proper, I guess, handling still, kind of. Like she said, they could have put the barriers, but they didn't. So I mean, I don't know. I lost it. I can't. I'm not going to that.
Like, okay, so to lead off of that, I guess my thought that popped up, when we go to shows and we're selling venomous, we have to have red tape. So we do deli cups just like pretty much anybody else does. But there's red tape on it because, universally most people red means stop or hot or whatever. Do not touch. Basically, like don't touch this cup. And we still will have kids, people walking around with little kids, and I've had to like literally like grab from kids because they'll try to pick up these cups with squams in it. And I mean, I've seen squams stick a fang through a vent hole. They can bite you through the holes. So it's one of those things where like at a lot of shows with venomous now, you'll see people with netting over it or have some sort of barrier where kids can't just walk up and grab these tubs because it's like the last thing I want to happen is, some little kid comes up and grabs a tub because there's a pretty snake in it, and then they're getting bit by some weird little viper. Like, it's just trying to be as safe as possible because we're keeping dangerous animals.
And I agree. Like I've seen that at some shows, like here in Shirts, they have that. Like you walk in right to the right when you walk into the expo. He has his whole table shielded up all the way around, like just shield up, because he does handle work with hot, but at the same time he doesn't like, I guess, people touching stuff at the same time as well. So
Who is it?
Gopher Snakes.
I don't know. I don't know who that is.
They have some stuff. They don't have a lot of this. It looks like mostly squams. Like
Yeah.
they're like either like bluish green, yellows, orange. Different colors.
Super cool.
I want to get one, but I don't know. I just want one for display. That's it.
Yeah. No, they're super easy, but they're super bitey.
Yeah.
And there's no anti-venom, so you just kind of have to like.
Yeah, I know. Watch out. And that's just the thing. I have kids though, and that's okay. Now my train of thought came back. Now we're talking. So what I was gonna say after all that, it's like what I was gonna say because I wanted to add that I'm not against venomous. Like I love venomous. I think it's awesome. Like I'm all for it. But there are others that aren't. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That they should be just left alone.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that, but everybody to each their own. Everybody has their opinion. So, and my next question was gonna lead into like, what negativity have you gotten back about being a venomous keeper handler?
Oh, so much. And I don't know, like, I mean, just the other day we were at a chicken swap of all things because we do have all kinds of chickens and we have like a little farm here. And we're at this chicken swap. We're talking to this guy, and it somehow came up, and he's like, "Oh, I kill every snake I see, and my son almost died from a water moccasin or a copperhead bite," which totally reasonable. I mean, I get that. Like, he runs crawfish fields out here, so to an extent, I understand you're in those fields all the time. You're working. Like, I get killing the venomous snakes because it is a safety thing. Would I rather they move them? Yeah. But I mean, just stuff like that with people being like, "Oh my gosh, you're crazy." Like, remind me not to come to your house, which all reptile keepers, I think, get to an extent.
Yeah. I got it.
It keeps the in-laws away.
I don't know. It's one of those things. I don't think venomous keepers, we do get a little bit more hate, but I don't think it's any different from anybody else. It's just more of like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. Those should be in the wild. Like, you're going to die. That kind of stuff. I get told like, oh my gosh, you're going to die all the time.
One day, someday.
We all are.
Oh, you know what? Before we go any further, I didn't even let her drop herself. You can go ahead and drop yourself. Shout out whoever you want to shout out right now.
What?
Also, let them know where they can find you.
Yeah. Okay. So, my name, just the ArianaCaiman. That's literally my social media on everything. So I'm pretty easy to find. I'm hopefully going to start up doing YouTube soon as well under that same name. So just ArianaCaiman on everything. I own a small art business, so it would be great if you guys check that out. It's under Hemlock's Horde. It's also tagged on my Instagram as well. So my boyfriend and I run a small art business that is like
nice.
Part of a big part, basically my entire income.
I'm definitely going to check that out because I'm all about art. You can ask, John could tell you. I always want something designed. So you draw or?
I do. I draw and I do photography. So actually, I'm repping one of my designs right now.
Hold on. Let me get it up bigger. Oh, that's awesome. You made that shirt?
Yeah.
I need one of them. Yeah, definitely going to get a good shirt.
Thank you.
All I gotta say is, you're not gonna get that shirt. Y'all better go get one. I'm gonna go get one.
I don't have as many shirts anymore, but if you send me a message, like 100%, I can have one printed and sent out. I just advertise them.
It says it keeps the in-laws and my blood family away. Works for me. So everybody wants to see what is behind you. What is that?
Oh, which way is easier? Behemoth. He's a Eastern Diamondback rattlesnake.
I saw your spitting cobra. That's what I saw.
Big boy.
I'm like, you're speeding cobra?
Yeah, I mean, they're all over.
Well, I don't want you to pull it out. I'm just saying, that snake you got, gorgeous. I'm not saying to go pull it out right now.
No,
I know how hard that would be.
Chris wants you to prove that it spits on people.
Yeah, no, it literally did. Like, she has a video, it just, scrapes in the fangs, bro.
That's actually awesome. One of the ones we just got rid of, because, like, I literally, I hate being spit on. Like, it sends me into like a little bit of an anxiety attack because I'm convinced for the next hour that it like got in a cut somewhere that I'm like somehow gonna die. So that's actually one of the ones we got rid of because that snake was too much. He was a lot, literally non-stop spitting.
Wow. I mean, it's sad. It was an awesome snake, but it gets spitting at you.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand. So you're Cayman. Did you ever own Cayman?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually got a dwarf Cayman at like 14 years old that I had for a couple of years. And then I sold it to breed boas. And then I had another like sub-adult, roughly 3'1" last year. But it ended up getting, very, very long story. It ended up getting taken because the city messed up what they thought the laws were. They took it under the wrong premises for like a month and then gave it back because they were like, oh, turns out it's not illegal here. And I was like, yeah, I know. That's why I got an attorney. But once I got the animal back, it had been kept at a not so good pet store and it had like gnarly mouth infection and stuff. And I could never get it to eat. So it ended up passing away. But I do want another one eventually just because, like, I love them.
Yeah, I want one of those too. I think we can have those here in Texas as well. But
I've had a mullet crocodile and a dwarf caiman.
That's what I'm trying to get right now. I really want a morlets.
They grow so fast.
Yeah.
Like 7 foot, 8 foot max, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, they're not small. They're full on crocodile. Sure.
Yeah, well, somebody gave them to the removing back when I was at the pet store, and so I put a sign up, joking around, $5 a mouse, a little baby mouse, and feed it, and it went crazy. Like, I kept watching them double in size. Like, all right, I had to take that down. Like, we can't be feeding them like this. This is not healthy.
Yeah, no, that's wild.
Bro, I'm just like, I want one that just stays this tight.
There ain't nothing like that, buddy.
Crocodile skinks.
Yeah, right, there you go.
It's about as close as you're gonna get.
Well, you seen there's one lady on Instagram that she has that thing puppy dog tame, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I want right there. That's exactly what I want right there.
My friend has one that's dumb tame too. My friend Shelby, like, she can do anything with that, and he's just totally cool with it.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, Anita.
I'll tell you what, Chris, you buy one, I'll keep it in our facility area, and you can watch the lives of it.
Bro, I got two. I got you offering me a job with you, and then I got Mike offering me a job with him to work with, tigers and stuff like that to learn more.
That's fun, man. I've done that for a couple of years off and on, helping people down the road from us.
I would kill for that.
He legit has 2 tigers. They're white and orange. They're amazing. They're gorgeous. I mean,
you see the pictures. They're awesome.
Yeah, he raised them from cubs. So I think it's awesome, but we're getting off track here.
But see, that's a whole nother game of exotics too. That's just as crazy as keeping venomous.
Yeah, because you never know either with the tiger. Like, is that thing gonna eat my head one day?
Well, and I feel like they're so much easier to like humanize and get complacent around.
Yeah.
Like, at least with my snakes, like I know that they're not, they run on instincts pretty much. Like, I feel like it'd be easier with like a big cat to be like, oh well, it's friendly and it loves me, and I'd mess up. I'd get killed.
Me too.
You let a big old steak on the counter to make, and all of a sudden it's hungry. You're in trouble.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I don't know. I gotta like I want to mentor into a lot of things. So that guy's like, he's asking me. Well, Mike, he's asking me if I go out there, like I can help him with a lot of things, because he has a lot of knowledge. I'm talking about like zookeeping, like herping.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Stuff like that. So does John. John has a lot of knowledge too, and to open our own storefront would be freaking amazing, But I just got to get out there. First of all, I got to get a card.
I would never do retail again, but I do like a giant building like we have here. It would just a walk through zoo or something, something like that.
That's what we want to do here. I'm not gonna lie, the zoos here, besides like the Audubon Zoo in New Orleans, I said that weird. Like, the zoos here suck. They're not good. A lot of them are like borderline abusive. My boyfriend's actually worked for a couple of them, which is why I know that. But their reptile departments are horrific. So that's like, we really want to kind of do a reptile zoo here and like do birds and kind of have like the big aviaries and that sort of thing. I don't know. He's had like lemurs and monkeys and stuff and worked with them, and he loves them. I'll leave that to him. That's not my thing. But if he wants to do lemurs and monkeys, by all means. No, but we'd love to open up like a little reptarium or zoo here too. Like that would be the dream.
I think that was my dream too, but my dream is a little different. I wanted to do a reptarium here in San Antonio, but also have a gym inside.
You be lifting the big retics.
Huh?
Yeah. Well,
I
I
mean,
wanted to make it like a jungle theme, like kind of rainforest theme.
Yeah.
The plates all like with snake heads or something,
yeah.
But
I mean, to be fair, there's like massage places with snakes. I don't see why not.
Cali.
so yeah, so that's what I was thinking. It'd be like a gym when you walk in, and then when you go upstairs. So I wanted to make it 2-story, and it'd be the zoo, the little like all the animals are right here, and you
We
can take the
tried it.
kids.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, brother. Go ahead
No,
now.
we was going to try to do the whole massage thing. We had a whole room in my store for it. They had brought out the strangest people, man. Like I can't put my business at a risk like this. Like I don't know. It was awkward, and like I'm not going to be in there like putting snakes on other people and stuff. I don't know. So yeah, we backed away from that.
I bet it does bring out some weirdos. Cause that's like I feel like yeah.
Oh my god, funny. But so what led you like into like reptiles?
Honestly, I don't. My dad's always kind of liked them. So like I grew up in Colorado. Until last year. I was born and raised Colorado, which is a big no on venomous. That's like one of the big reasons I actually moved away from there. But just growing up, I mean, there's bull snakes, garter snakes, all the basic stuff in Colorado that I would go out and catch. And my dad was super supportive, and so he's a huge outdoor guy. So we'd be out hiking and stuff all the time, end up catching snakes and lizards just for fun. Occasionally, bring them home, keep them in a big recycling bin for a couple weeks, and then put them in the garden outside, which led to, let's go get an exotic reptile. We ended up getting a green amoeba, of all things, for my first lizard, and that thing was an absolute terror. Literally, like, horrible attitude, would rip us open. And it was big. Rip us open every chance it got. Ended up trading that for a Euromastix. And I think I was probably like 5 at this point. And then I got a little Timor monitor for a little bit, got a ball python, and then it was just downhill from there.
That's awesome.
So.
She's a Euromastix. What happened with that? I would have kept that.
I know, it was a little Molly Euromastix. He was super cool. His name was Spike, but I fell in love with this Timor monitor at our local reptile shop. We ended up trading him out for the monitor, which was like crazy because I think I was like 7 when I got that monitor, which is absolutely wild that a 7-year-old had a monitor. But
so this is a loaded question. So here we go. I'm gonna ask it and see what you say. I want to hear your response because I'm gonna ask the same question tomorrow. It says, how do we change the community for better when it comes to working with venomous reptiles?
Self-policing. It's a lot of self-policing, and it's honestly really hard to do because a lot of venomous keepers have quite the ego, which leads to, and I think it happens with quite a few different species, but which leads to like when we're experiencing it right now, and obviously I won't name names, but somebody who recently got into venomous within the last 6 months and is already keeping things like mambas, that's somebody who's going to get bit and it's going to look bad on our community. That's just, and no matter what people tell this guy, he's like, oh, I can handle it. I can do it. You can't. There's a reason people don't keep mambas until 5+ years into keeping venomous a lot of the times, because you get bit, it looks bad on everybody. I mean, it just does.
Yeah, aren't they fast? Like, aren't they like super fast too?
Oh, stupid fast. Stupid
smart. It's stupid smart.
They're horrifying. I mean, they'll learn what side you open the cage on, and they'll wait. They make eye contact the second your eyes look away. They're on. Like, mambas are a top tier for venomous. They're horrifying. So it's like just self-policing with stuff like that, trying to make sure new keepers aren't getting over their heads, that they're going through the correct, ways to get, either they're getting their permits, they're being mentored, don't keep illegally. That's should be kind of obvious, but like if somebody in a legal state gets busted with a bunch of venomous, it looks bad. Don't let your stuff out. Have secure cages. That's massive. If you have any doubts that it's not secure, don't put a venomous snake in there. Because if something gets out, I mean, we've seen what happens when venomous snakes get out. It is national news, and people freak. I mean, death threats. Like I'm friends with one of the people who had a snake get out, and he was getting death threats at 20 years old. That's insane. Like that's just not good for anybody. So it's a lot of self-policing and just following protocols that are in place. A lot of times following zoo level protocols to keep these snakes, because that's what people want to see. People are okay with seeing them in zoos. So if your facility is up to basically zoo quality standards and you're following those protocols, people can't say as much or talk bad as much.
Good answer. I like that. I like that a
I'm
lot.
relatively new to it, so I might not be the best person to ask, but I mean, that's just...
What, you're new to venomous handling? Or keeping?
Exotic keeping, yeah.
Oh, okay. Like, how long you been in it?
I've only been keeping venomous for a little bit over a year.
I mean, it's not fairly new, but it's new.
I mean, new compared to some of the people who've been doing it for 10, 20.
Okay,
plus.
so who's do you like watch Tyler? Like Tyler stuff? You like his page? I like him. He's cool. I like his tattoos.
I've actually met Tyler in person and hung out with him. He's like a super cool, down to earth guy. The way he presents in his videos is exactly how he is in real life. Like, no doubt about it. But obviously, as YouTubers, sometimes they have to. It's entertainment. They have to hype stuff up or exaggerate stuff for people to watch. So there are certain things that I would disagree with, but I know as a keeper, he's a really good keeper and does generally do stuff. I mean, there's a reason he's only been bit once. Like, he is a really good keeper. There are some YouTubers that are a little bit more careless that I don't think are the best look for our hobby. But regardless, they do bring attention to it, and people watch it and maybe have a more positive outlook on keeping venomous, which regardless is, I mean, it's a positive view. Even if as a venomous keeper, I'm like, that was a little dumb. If people who don't keep venomous or don't keep any reptiles are seeing it and being like, oh, that's really cool, that's still positive for the community. So
I get it. I get what you're saying. So I guess I'm not gonna piggyback off that, but it's something. So it has to do with like keeping and breeding, right? So you said you're gonna breed your first project of venomous, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
So what my question is like, as being a breeder, when you breed venomous, like let's say the animal or the reptile is endangered, do you think we're helping by breeding that species?
Okay, this is actually a wonderful question, because we have a snake that is one of the few of its kind in the country. Like, I literally cannot find a male. I cannot find anybody who even owns a male of this snake. And I found probably 5 people that have females. So I don't know if, as far as conservation status goes, I always believe that, yes, the private sector is a huge part. So if it's something that's endangered in the wild, the more animals that there are of that on Earth, regardless, is helping. So it's tough because, yeah, we're not directly contributing to conservation, but if they go extinct in the wild, zoos and conservation programs are probably going to pull from the private sector. So I do think in the long run, if it's something where push comes to shove, yes, it is beneficial to have these snakes breeding in captivity.
See, for people who are like, why do we need them? Because when we go to zoos, everybody, what's the first thing everybody wants to go see? I'm not saying, for me, it was reptiles. Like, oh, I want to check out the snakes.
Right.
You know, it was always snakes for me. So if that snake ain't there, then, you know, what is the next generation going to see?
Well, and that was actually a huge, the letter I wrote when this ban for Louisiana first came up, a big part of the letter I wrote to our like Fish and Wildlife Commission was all about that. A lot of the animals, a lot of reptiles that are in the captive sector aren't really in zoos because most people don't go to zoos to look at reptiles. They don't draw attention like big cats and monkeys do. So my personal experience, a lot of zoos I've gone to have very pitiful, very few reptiles on display.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Now, granted, they could have crazy breeding programs, going behind the scenes, but I think a lot of times there are more animals in the private sector in reptile keeping than there are in zoos. So should there be a need for breeding programs, it's going to come from the private sector. So that was like a huge part of my thing to them on why not to ban these animals, because we have them and the zoos don't.
And that's awesome. Okay. You got anything, John?
Not on that, but what is the most rare? If you had like no money, if you had all the money in the world to have any venomous snake or anything else, what would it be that you don't own now?
Venomous, I'm going to have to go. And it's something that's achievable that like we probably will have, but I really want a king. Like I really want a king cobra. They're just kind of expensive and they're hard to feed, and they
A
need
white one, right? A Lucy.
Yeah, that would be killer.
Right. Or all black one.
I think the Lucy's have, what they're kind of finding is they tend to have just failure to thrive. Like most
I've heard that.
8 to 9 feet and then just kind of decline. So
Well, that was a problem with the reticular pythons too. The all whites for a while.
So, really? Yeah, it's like a deadly gene. It's weird.
Yeah. But one breeder actually found. Well, I don't know what gene it was, but I know a guy that actually he's got one. I think it's still living well. He actually added a whole nother gene to the breeding, and that still gave that white, but it also changed up whatever that failure was so far, I believe.
I think that's what they're trying to do with the kings right now, is not necessarily add, there's not really other genes you can add, but just experimenting with different bloodlines to see if one of them's gonna, because the hets do fine. The het Lucy's have excelled, but the Lucy's for whatever reason just don't do well.
But, so the new one for me for the last year and a half, I've been studying and watching, and hopefully one day own, is the spider tail horn viper. Have you heard of them? And would you want one if you could have one?
Bro, those things are amazing. Isn't their tail like a spider or something?
Yeah, it looks like it's walking on the rocks.
Yeah. I don't know him well, but I do know the guy who has them in the States. And it's only like 2 people.
Well, there's a pair for sale right now too.
Yeah, for like $25K. Or did they? I think they did. But yeah, for Michael. And then Ryan and Kyle, who I actually know really well at Primitive Predators, I think have some. But I don't know if I would own one. They're super cool, like super cool adaptation, and they're unique, but they're just kind of ugly, to be honest. Like as far as steaks go, like they're drab.
But, that's awesome. Just like they're kind of ugly. Hey, see, but she knows what she likes, though. That's
I
the
wouldn't
thing.
be able
I
to
know.
keep them here either. It's too humid. They die here. They're desert vipers. It's the same. Like, I love the horned vipers, the sidewinders. Love them. Can't have them here because it's too humid. Sucks.
Well, I think the spider tail is what, Iraq. So yeah,
Yeah. Same thing. I don't think they'd do well here. They'd get all kinds of weird fungal and respiratory from the humidity, which sucks.
speaking of like fungus and all that, me and Chris were talking before you came on. And they're a species I've heard, and I could be wrong, a species of rattlesnake that is seeming to be disappearing because of fungus. I don't know if it's because it's not getting hot enough where they're at now. It's not eating, burning off whatever it is that causes it, or maybe you heard of it and you know what species that is.
I know they're struggling a lot on the East Coast with like the snake fungal disease, just taking out like timbers, and I think duskies, like the
Yep.
pygmy is huge. And then I know, so I don't know if it's like the same as that. And then I know duskies are declining really bad because of the worms from the Burmese pythons, which I'm blanking on the name of the worm right now, but duskies, pygmy rattlesnakes, like you used to be able to not take a step in Florida and you'd be stepping on a pygmy. They were everywhere. And now they're like getting really hard to find because they're just rapidly getting taken out by this worm that got brought in by the berms. But and then the SFD all over the East Coast is horrible, wiping out dens of timbers and all kinds of stuff. It's nasty.
Man, I'm like, I want to keep going, but I want to bring her back for part two because this is interesting, man. I really do want to bring her back for part two, so I'm gonna ask you two more questions.
Mhm.
So let's just say somebody came up to you right now and you're working with venomous, and they ask you, what is can you teach me one thing about working with venomous reptiles, or if they tell you they don't like working with venomous reptiles, like what could you tell them to make them feel better?
Ooh, that's such a tough one.
Well, not working with them, but I guess just trying to look at them, get information,
Yeah.
it's like what would you tell that person? Like, what could you teach them?
I mean, one of the big things is like just the adaptation of venom. Like, one of my favorite things about venomous snakes is the toxicology. Just, people look at them and they think, oh, venom's deadly, and that's all they know. But when you actually really start looking at the evolution and the breakdown of different venoms, it becomes much more fascinating and makes a lot more sense. And I think it almost makes it less scary because it's like, I don't know, for some people it might make it more scary, but to look at like your everyday snakes like garter snakes, which are technically venomous, but only for toads.
Okay.
So it's like, yeah, you kids picking up garter snakes, doing stuff like that, they're rear fanged. They have venom. Doesn't affect humans. Might make you a little itchy, but that's it. So I think that's something that people don't realize, like a lot more snakes have venom than what they think. And I think that might make some people feel better that like they're really not all big and scary. They're just like every other snake. They've just developed proteins to take down specific prey items. And it happens to affect them negatively.
Well said. That was well said.
Thank you.
I'm gonna let John see if John has a question before we go.
I'm good.
You good? You sure?
Oh yeah.
All right, brother.
I usually save 2 or 3, but this time I kind of went all of them at once. My bad.
No, you good. You do good. I mean, you're good. So I'm gonna ask her one more. So this next one is, if you could change one thing in the hobby or / community, what would it be and why?
I wish people were more open to advice. And I wish people giving it's a double-edged sword. I wish people were more open to advice, and I wish people giving advice sometimes would be
more graceful about it
and nicer about it. Yeah. Because I think it people are unwilling to take advice because the people giving advice can be a little too harsh and mean. And then so I wish the advice exchange in the community was smoother and that we could really help each other out and like exchange ideas without people getting defensive or that kind of thing.
I agree. The next question is, what did you think of the podcast?
It's cool. Oh, it's super cool. Just like getting on and talking about reptiles. I think it's awesome what you guys are doing, for sure.
Appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I had a podcast before, and I had to go and rebrand. So now I'm just bringing on different people from different communities. I'm trying to bring that back because I strayed away from that. So I'm trying to bring all that back again. And Thursdays, I think from now on, I'm going to be doing an all women's night, like a ladies' night. Just
nice.
Different women from different, I guess, parts of the community. Like it could be a gecko, it could be a emerald boa, or whatever they work with, chondros. So
Heck yeah.
I'm going to start doing that again. So you're more than welcome to hop on that too, whenever you feel like it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you'd want, like, we could probably work something out if you want to get, like, me and my boyfriend on here to talk about venomous, because he's been doing it longer. He probably has some different insights than me. That would be totally cool too. I know we talked about that a little bit at the beginning.
Yeah, I'm for it. I'm all, like I said, I'm all for it. I'm all for everything. So we get to see the better half, like the other half, not better half, other half. Because when I see couples together and they're working together, I'm all about power couples.
Yeah.
So it's awesome that you got a spouse that works with you or helps you and teaches you stuff. So to me, that's awesome. That's amazing to have. Not a lot of people have that in the community. So
yeah, no, that's true. A lot of people are just kind of like, oh, I do it, and my spouse puts up with it.
Yeah.
So no, for sure.
On that, one more. You gotta leave a positive message for all the viewers watching who will watch this.
I would say just do what you love. Like, especially in the reptile community, a lot of people are going to call you weird. Just stick with it. If you're passionate about it, that's literally all that matters. If it makes you happy, do it and make it into something. Like, live your life. For real.
Yes. I agree. All right. Anything else, John, before we get on out of here? Because that's it. Everybody, thank Ariana for coming on. Let's give her a big round of applause. Yeah. Appreciate you. I'm gonna put you backstage, but don't get off yet. I'm gonna shout out some sponsors, and then we're gonna get going.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm gonna shout out the sponsors. Okay, we got Blue Tongue Republic. We got Stitch and Clothing, South Bay Reptiles. Ship your reptiles Untamed. You get $15 off your checkout. Then we got the Hognose Hub. You type in Untamed, you get 50% off. Stickers, off reptile merch, any merch. Just go check it out. We got CMB, our other sponsors, Reptile Crew for the merch. I don't have it on. Left my hat at home because I thought I was going to the gym, and I forgot I had a podcast today. I know I'm bad. Don Romo's Mexican Restaurant, where I work, my sponsor. He's been a cool boss. He lets me do lives, in the office when I have to. Thank you to all the sponsors. We're gonna play the ending, the credits. I love everybody that was here. Appreciate you guys. Bohemian Exotics, Carissa, Mitzi, Laura, Lola, Lolo, Critters, Eva. Shout out to all you guys for watching, staying here with us, watching to the end. And again, you got anything else, John? We heading out.
Stay positive and inspire somebody new.
All right, lift up others and love each other. On that note, we out here, guys. Love you guys. Y'all have a great night.